Hi, I am Amy Richardson with Richardson Professional Solutions, where we provide back office services to other small businesses, nonprofits, and family estates across the country. And today we are bringing value to you as a community member by introducing you to one of our other community members. Daniel, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Daniel Rader. I'm with Pool Heating and Air Conditioning, and I handle sales and operations for Pool Heating and Air Conditioning based out of Thompson, Georgia.
Very nice. Local, small business, family owned, family run, a really great group of folks.
Yes, well, thank you for saying so. We'd like to think so as well. We've been in business since 2001, servicing new construction and homeowners and stores and commercial properties as well.
Very nice. So right now, as we're filming this, we are in the middle of July. It is sweltering outside. We have a little bit of a reprieve from the storm last night, but this is your peak season, right? Trying to keep everybody cool. So let's talk about what it's like getting ahead of things like this. So we've talked, I know, in passing between the two of us about maintenance plans. My family utilizes y'all's services, and we get checked throughout the year to make sure that we're trying to stay ahead of that. So let's talk on that a little bit.
Oh, very good. This is actually not the season that we really talk about maintenance so long as we talk about the need for maintenance before now. Because right now things are breaking down, which means that someone has not had maintenance done in most cases. And that's why we like to emphasize maintenance throughout the year, is because it can prevent really expensive breakdowns as well as the emergency calls that really ruin a summertime.
Right. And I know that, other folks in other areas and industries, they talk about we take really good care of our cars, make sure that we're hitting the oil changes promptly, but we kind of forget to do that with our house. So what does that maintenance plan look like? How do you guys work ahead? What can people expect when you're working on their home or their commercial property? Just kind of give us a good holistic overview.
Sure. Well, it does depend something on what type of system's installed in the property, because there are different types of systems. It could be a package unit, it could be a rooftop unit, it could be a mini split. There's so many different parameters that we have to adjust to. However, in general, it's going to consist of a good coil cleaning, because if a coil that is clean will breathe better, which also will allow it to function more efficiently and more quietly. Then we also check out the electronics, make sure all the safeties are working properly. And we're going to check the refrigerant levels, of course, and we'd check the temperature difference to make sure it's cooling or heating the way it's supposed to. But it's also very important that the system is checked and maintained in the season in which it's servicing, meaning that if we're doing a heating service, it's good to be in conditions in which heating would be called for. Because if we try to check the heating and when it's 90 degrees outside, we're going to get some false information and not be able to check it as thoroughly as otherwise, and vice versa.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So there were recently some changes earlier in the year as far as things that are outside of my realm of knowledge. Numbers changed. I remember you talking about that, and old systems weren't applicable anymore. You had to get a new system that was different cleanliness or parameter. Let's talk about that a little bit and how that's affected maybe business coming into the new year, what customers have been able to expect. Is there a lot of lead time trying to get those units?
So right now we're in a situation where things are mostly settled in. There are a few types of systems that are still a little short in inventory. However, what you're referring to is the Department of Energy has some new standards come into effect as of January 1st. And now we refer to SEER 2, whereas the conversation used to be about SEER levels as it relates to a system's efficiency. And what that really did is they changed the testing protocol for what determines how efficient a system is in order to reflect more real-to-life applications. So used to, we have like a 14 SEER system, say, and we'd install it in a house, which didn't have perfect duct system. And by the time it was installed, it was not functioning at a 14 SEER level. And therefore, it was kind of like false advertising, even though everything was legally and above board. So this new testing procedures allows us to install systems and are rated in a more true-to-life fashion. We talked about SEER level. Now we're talking about SEER 2, which means that it is actually engineered to be as efficiently as it is advertised to be when it's installed, even in a less than ideal circumstance, in a real-life application. Now, that's not to say that work doesn't matter, because it certainly does. Application affects it a lot. But when we install a 14.3 SEER 2 system now, it's actually supposed to deliver 14.3 SEER in most applications.
Well, that's great. So speaking of all of that and the duct work and coming into existing systems, do you all do evaluations of existing systems in people's homes and commercial properties?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's really important to have a professional do that because homeowners going to pass by the same thing day in and day out and not notice the things that a professional would, who's trained to see red flags. Right. And we would notice things that would be costing a homeowner or a business owner lots of money over the course of a lifetime of equipment or even over the course of a year that a homeowner or business owner just wouldn't notice.
Okay. Real quick, I want to touch on 2 hot points that I know people might be curious about. So let's talk about programmable thermostats. Okay. I personally am a big fan of the Ecobee and the little gadgets that sit around. And then maybe truth or myth on the type of filter that you need to use.
Okay.
All right. So I know that previously we paid big dollars for the really tightly wound, highly allergenic, whatever from Costco, and you said, no, don't do that anymore. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Very good. So there's a balance, and what really comes down to is how it's designed in order to deliver airflow. So some companies, especially the filter manufacturers, like to shortchange the whole process by advertising these filters that are really high MERV, meaning they can take out smaller particulates out of the air as the system functions. But what they don't adjust for is the lack of airflow that they are then restricting by constricting the filter so much. And that causes very significant damage to the system. It can shorten equipment life by up to 50%.
Wow.
So we're talking about just having a proper filter and proper designed. You could go from having to change out your system every 15 years to having to change out every 5 to 7 years. And that is very, very costly. Right. So we've tried to look at it in a holistic way of looking at it, and so that would consist of a properly sized filter, so it's got to be the right dimensions in order for the right air to pass through, connected to a tight duct system, and then in an ideal circumstance also have some kind of a air purifier in place to remove those things or to kill those things in the air that a filter cannot take out. So that's kind of a holistic approach to air filtration. But in general, what we like to say is in most instances, you're going to need a 1-inch filter that is pleated but only barely pleated. We don't want the ones that, think of an accordion. You want to think of the accordion that's spread out, not the accordion that's pushed in together. So if the accordion is spread out, that's going to be about right for your home. And that should be changed every 30 days. Okay. That will help the system run longer, run more efficiently, and also keep the air clean.
Good to know. All right, so now let's talk about our Ecobees and how that affects the system, the way that you are able to live around your system. I love it, but let's tell them all about it. So
we also love the Ecobee product. That's my favorite. That's one I have in my home, as a matter of fact. And I love it because of the convenience that it offers. That's really its main selling point. We usually recommend to homeowners who have a smart thermostat to just kind of ignore the thing on the wall and just use their smart device as the controller. Because if you try to deal with multiple platforms, the thing on the wall versus the thing in your hand, it can get a little confusing accessing settings and menus and stuff. But I love that I can, when my fiance says, hey, I'm a little warm, I can just reach over my phone and adjust the temperature to make everybody comfortable. Or if I'm away from home, if I'm on vacation and our system was not set properly, I can change it on the fly and not have to worry about how it's costing us money while we're trying to enjoy our vacation. But these modern thermostats also connect to the internet, which gives them access to information that a standard thermostat just wouldn't have. It can now know what the weather is actually like on the location. Mm-hmm. It can know what the humidity is going to be like. And all that helps to inform its algorithm for how to most efficiently accomplish cooling or heating at the time. Right. I think my favorite thing for our family, especially with the Ecobee system and having the little sensors that you can put in other areas of your house, we have a larger home and we only really frequent pockets of our home, right? Yes. Our offices or the living room. Yes. And so we place those little sensors so that it'll pick up when we've moved around the house and it'll adjust the air and all of those fancy things, but it helps keep those bills down because you're only using the energy that you really need for where you are in the home. So. Yes, it does give us more control, and it gives the thermostat more information to work off of. We have a mutual friend who loves that central that thermostat sensor, and he can take it from a bedroom where he sleeps at night to his office, which is just about 20 feet away. Right. But it helps to make sure that where he is the most comfortable place upstairs. Right. Incredible. What a cool time to be alive, right? Really? All right. Well, any other parting thoughts for residential or commercial folks that are interested in HVAC systems, maintaining things, getting ahead of it, staying cool during the summer? Well, they say that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that is nowhere more true than in HVAC. Okay. Preventive maintenance will save a lot of money over the course of a lifetime of equipment. Sounds good. Well, how can folks get in touch with you? So our website is going to be the best way at poolheatingandair.com, all spelled out. And otherwise, our office phone number is 706-597-1643.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right.